Good morning, everybody. I'm so glad to see you. I'm telling you, I've been excited for today's show. I hope your week was good. I hope your Sunday's going good. Let's dig right into this. Let's do this. Good morning, everybody. How you doing? I hope you're excited. I hope you're doing well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button, and let's do this. Let's do this. I want to start out with a little bit of a clarification. Well, now let's just dig into it. A friend of mine that is a security expert. This is what he does for a living for private corporations. I was texting with him and I said, look, man, this online activity that I'm seeing, this doesn't look organic anymore. This doesn't look like pissed off right wingers. What do you think? What are your thoughts on it? What's your feel? Just checking myself, and he texted me back this. This was his response. He sent me this meme. It's been circulating around on Social Security, social media. And yeah, this is a thing. This is really going on. You've got Chinese and Russian bots have just exploded all over social media, trying to turn up the heat, trying to ratchet things up, trying to get things, trying to kick off a civil war, man. But no, it's just not going to happen. It's just not gonna happen. It's not. Oh my God, that meme kills me. But yeah, it's been awful. It really has. The misinformation, the all of it's just been insane. I've got 1 second. I have got an article here that's talking about exactly what I was talking about. It is, pull it back up. It is really something. Let me pull it back up for you. 1 second. I'm not the only one that noticed it. You're starting to see some of the major news outlets catch on that, yeah, this isn't this is astroturf. This isn't homegrown. This isn't organic anymore. You're seeing a lot of AI bullshit, a lot of bots out there that's just fueling this rage out there, especially on the right. There's tons of misinformation. There's just tons of misinformation. And frankly, the leadership we're getting from the right isn't helping. You know me, people. I am a Democrat, 100%. And if anybody ever asks me why, it's things like this. It's things like this. This is what we're seeing out of the leadership on the right. These kinds of things. This is Elon Musk talking to a group in the UK about immigration in the wake of the Charlie Kirk assassination. This is Elon Musk.
Violence is going to come to you. You will have no choice. You're in a fundamental situation here where whether you choose violence or not, violence is coming to you. You either fight back or you die. You either fight back or you die. And that's the truth.
Today, Elon, I think the British public are telling the world that they're ready to fight back.
Good.
Yeah, so that's Tony Robinson's bigot rally in the UK, and Elon Musk saying, "Yeah, we got violence is coming for you. We got to fight." And he's not the only one. I mean, you've got elected leaders out there. I've got Mike Lee, of course. This is the guy that was making jokes when a Minnesota lawmaker was assassinated. A Democratic lawmaker was assassinated. He was making jokes about it. Now he's just trying to, foment rage with a bunch of bullshit. This is a sitting U.S. senator from Utah. You'd think the senator from Utah would be leading the charge for good information, just trying to keep things calm. No, hell no. Mike Lee said, you've got this right-wing bomb thrower, Robbie Stark, says the left did this. They radicalized the killer and he murdered a good man. Then they celebrated. Well, nobody celebrated. Well, maybe a few people did. I don't know, but nobody I know celebrated Charlie Kirk getting shot. We kind of thought, oh, hell, here we go. This is that was about the reaction most people I know on the left had. I will never unify with the monsters who did this. Well, nobody expected you to. But Mike Lee says, meanwhile, they painted the killer as a good man. Have you folks, I want to check with you in the community here. Have any of you folks been out there painting this murderer as a good man? Because if you have, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed because I know I haven't. And I don't know anybody else who has, and that's a joke. I know you haven't. I know this community. No, that's bullshit. That is made up bullshit. That is just trying to foment rage. That is a sitting U.S. senator, a leader on the right, trying to foment rage in his base. You can ask yourself why. Casey, thanks for supporting the show. I appreciate you being here, man. It's good to see new people in the audience. It's fantastic. I'm glad to see you, brother. Thank you for doing that. And we've got Brian Huchin. Am I saying that right? Is it Huchin? Or is it a SH sound? Houchin? You're going to have to tell me, man. I don't like to mispronounce names. Not as much as I usually give, but why are they treating Charlie Kirk as a damn hero? He never served, has only been a racist bigot, not a good guy. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in a minute. We are. Great comment. Great comment. They're literally flying his family around on Air Force One. They're flying his body around on Air Force Two. Spending large amounts of taxpayer money on a guy that is just not a decent human being. He's not. But let's contrast what's coming out of the right with what's coming out of the left. And this is why I tell you, we're not going to have a civil war. We're not. We are not going to have a civil war. This is what's coming out of the left. This is what leadership looks like. And again, a shout out to Aaron Rupar for always bringing us these clips. Compare these. We're going to have a little bit of Trump and what's coming out of the right with Pete Buttigieg.
Mr. Secretary, I do want to get your response to some of what we've heard from the president. This from the Oval Office just this week. Take a look.
My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
What is your reaction to hearing that?
I want to be really clear about this. This is an example of something that is hurting. We're not getting the leadership that we need to bring this country together from the White House. And in order to turn the tide of political violence, yes, we have to reject those who commit political violence. Yes, we have to reject those who celebrate or promote political violence. But also, in order to deprive political violence of its power, We have to reject anyone who would try to exploit political violence. The response to this cannot be for the government to crack down on individuals or groups, not because of violence, but because they challenge the government politically. We need to have free and open political debate and a healthy political process in this country. And by the way, just like an overwhelming majority of Americans reject violence, an overwhelming majority of Americans, left, right, and center, believe that the government should not be cracking down on its political opponents because they are political opponents, not in the United States of America, not ever.
Awesome contrast, huh? Oh, I appreciate you, George. I appreciate you always being here, man. Thank you. I appreciate you very much. Awesome contrast between a Republican and a Democrat, and the president of the United States, and the former transportation secretary in the prior administration, Pete Buttigieg, Stephen Leach, Cussing Jar. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate y'all supporting the show. Cannot do it without you. I just can't. This is James Tallarico. He's running to be Texas's next senator against Ken Paxton, which we're going to have something for you in the next show about Ken Paxton. If we got time, we may get into it at the end of this show, but apparently he's been caught up in another sex scandal. But not now. Not now. Let's stay focused. This is James Tallarico. I want you to just soak it in, man. Soak in the difference between what's coming out of the right and what's coming out of the left.
They want us at each other's throats. They want us focused on how we're different instead of on how we're the same. I am tired of being pitted against my neighbor. I am tired of being told to hate my neighbor. It's been more than 10 years of this kind of politics. Politics as blood sport, politics as professional wrestling. It tears families apart. It ends friendships, and it leaves us all feeling terrible all of the time. There is a deep hunger in this state and in this country for a different kind of politics. Not a politics of hate, not a politics of tribes, not a politics of division, but a politics of love. A love that can heal what's broken in America.
So yeah, a distinct tone difference between what you're getting out of Democrats and Republicans. Stephanie Delaney says the NFL is having a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. Great way to ignite the fire. Shame on the NFL. Yeah, that's not really going over well with everybody. We're not going to sane wash Charlie Kirk. We're not going to do it. I understand the idea of, trying to tamp down rhetoric, but no, Charlie Kirk was an asshole. He was not a good person. He wasn't. Again, we don't preach violence on this channel. I don't think he should have been shot for it. In fact, I would have defended to my last breath his right to be an asshole and say what he had to say. I would have. Now, I've warned you repeatedly to talk to your kids to make sure that they, because this is who this guy went. There's a video. I don't, I'll let y'all choose whether you want to see it later on in the show. It's an 18-year-old kid. They're attacking one of the witnesses right now, they desperately want this to be our fault, not their fault, our fault. And it's just not. It's just not. In fact, I've got to do a little bit of a correction from the last show, because the last show, we did it right after this guy was arrested, and they were immediately calling this guy transgender. Tyler Robinson transgender. Turns out, no, he's not transgender. He's not. And they immediately wanted to just blame this on the left, man. I mean, everybody, even Governor Cox from Utah was trying to blame this on the left. There was nothing tying this guy to the left. And I took a look at what was written on the casings when it first came out. And I was focused on the transgender stuff because, I knew they were going to try to attack transgender people. It's what they do. It's what they do. It's their boogeyman for everything these days. But then I saw the Bella Ciao casing. I'm like, uh-oh, maybe he is one of us, because Bella Ciao is one of the anthems for the anti-fascists. It's used by the anti-fascists. What I was unaware of is that Bella Ciao had been co-opted by the Groper movement. It is now, ironically, one of the anthems they use. And I don't take my word for it. This is the Groper Wars playlist on Spotify. The Groper Wars America First playlist on Spotify. Right now, you can go to Spotify, do a search for Groper Wars America First, and take a look. And when you get down here to song number 14, Bella Ciao. The Hugo remix. Hugo. I don't know who this artist is. Bella Ciao. So yeah, looks like I got that one wrong. And accuracy is important. It is. And the last show I said, hey, this guy may have been one of ours on the left. And, we decry violence. We need to decry that kind of violence. And yada. Looks like I was dead wrong on it, because there's more and more tying this guy to the Groper movement coming out every day. And yeah, it looks like this was a Nick Fuentes disciple. And let me show you what's been coming out. Peter, Nancy Mace disgrace can eat crow from her vile remarks now. Yeah. This guy was not trans. He was not a lefty. His mother released this on her Facebook. Well before this happened. She had no idea this was going to happen. But yeah, this was his Halloween costume where he was dressed up as a Pepe the Frog meme. And we've talked about Pepe the Frog and how that is their icon. The Groypers use that on their social media when they don't want to put their face up. They use Pepe the Frog and there's all kinds of memes out there. Well, Tyler Robinson's mother says, happy Halloween. This is from 2018. Happy Halloween. Handing out candy alone since these weirdos ditch me. Tyler is some guy from a meme. Austin is the crazy end of the homeless world guy. And Logan is a fancy skeleton. Tyler is some guy from a meme. What guy is he? Oh, the Pepe the Frog, Groper. They call this the Slav squat. They call this the Slav squat. Yeah. The dude picked as his Halloween costume one year Donald Trump. Then this year, his Halloween costume is Pepe the Frog doing the Slav squat. According to his own mother, who took the picture. And if you don't know how this is the Slav squat. This is if you just do a search on Google for it, just do a search on Slav squat. What it is tied to, the Groypers are a far right white nationalist movement. That movement has deep ties to the Russian mafia and the Russian white supremacist movement. The Slav squat comes from the Russian criminal mafia, is where it comes from. And you notice they're wearing Adidas tracksuits. Adidas tracksuits are beloved in Russia. They are. It goes back to the old Soviet days when they couldn't get things in the Soviet Union. Well, Adidas would still import to the Soviet Union. And Russians love them for it. It's like Russians love Pepsi. Interesting side note. Pepsi was once one of the most powerful navies on the face of the planet. Did y'all know that? It just little factoid trivia here. Did you know that Pepsi, the soft drink, was once one of the most powerful navies on the planet? I think it was like the third most powerful navy on the planet ahead of China. They were. See, because sanctions during the old Soviet era, the Soviet Union couldn't pay them in hard currency. So for all the Pepsi that Pepsi was importing into the Soviet Union, which they still love Pepsi to this day, it's just the inverse. Coca-Cola has a big lead on market share in the United States. It's just the opposite in Russia. They love Pepsi, going back to the old Soviet days, because the Pepsi would do business with them. They couldn't pay them in hard currency, so Russia just gave them a bunch of warships. Yeah, I'm not even kidding. I'm not. Look it up. The Pepsi was once the third most powerful navy on the face of the planet, and they sold them for scrap. They did, and that's how they ended up circumventing the sanctions so that they could get their money. But that was real, folks. I mean, that really happened. Dying Breed Garage Paul, the governor of Utah, said on Meet the Press that the shooter's roommate is transgender, and the shooter did this because he is far left. They're hell-bent on blaming the Democrats for Kirk. Yeah, I talked about that. There's literally nothing that they've shown so far that this kid is trans. He may be. But the kid they're trying to claim is transgender is not the bad guy here. He's a witness. We're going to get into that. In just a second. New West Bill, they eat their own. Stand out of the way. Yeah, no kidding. Thanks for always being here, Bill. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Waiting on the Trump Kirk card and coin. Oh, God. You know it's coming. Absolutely, you know it's coming. Ryan Housen, theory is that Charlie Kirk was not racist enough. Tracksuit Mafia, Russian mob in Marvel, but yeah, we're going to talk about that, Brian. Thank you for all the support, man. I really appreciate you, brother. But yeah, that is literally what it looks like. Omniscient Sphinx, good morning, Paul. When I first started watching all this, I was getting JFK conspiracies. Can you imagine if his dad didn't turn him in? He wouldn't have he would have faded into the shadows with all new conspiracies. Absolutely right, sir. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it is something. Bruce Barrows, I'm sick of all the comments on Charlie Kirk when there have been a ton of school shootings since the Columbine. We're going to talk a little bit about that too here in a minute. Stick with me. Look, this guy is looking like a Groper. This is what he looks like. This is what his online content looks like. Hell, he's wearing a Pepe the meme costume, Pepe the frog costume for Halloween. That's what Groypers do. The Groypers love this Russian shit. They do that Slav squat thing wearing Adidas. There's pictures all over. Just do a search on your own. If you're watching this on replay, go back to Google, pause this, open up another tab, go to Google, and just do a search for Slav squat. You'll see it. You'll see it yourself. This is not something I'm trying to sell you. No stretch. It's the Groypers are a white supremacist movement headed by Nick Fuentes, and they hated Charlie Kirk. They hated him. Snowy Mountain, point out that Dems will never succeed on defense, denying the trash talk from MAGAs and the foreign allies is pointless. Start their projection, mindless rage, prejudice, and cruelty. Yeah. I mean, I'm not here to simply refute. I'm telling you, I'm laying it out here. This is Nick Fuentes. This is Nick Fuentes. I want you to see this man talk. 1 second. I'm muted. Hold on. You ready for this? This is Nick Fuentes just a couple weeks ago talking about Charlie Kirk. Just a couple weeks ago.
Charlie Kirk will not debate me because I would fucking devour him. I would eat him alive. And at the end of the day, that's going to happen one way or the other.
And again, this is the head of the Groper movement. And at the end of the day,
That's going to happen one way or the other. Whether he chooses to confront me or not, whether he has dignity and honor or not, it's just a matter of time. My ideas are already there. I've already impregnated your organization. I took Turning Point USA and I fucked it. I took your organization, I took your baby, Turning Point USA, and I fucked it. And I've been fucking it. And that's why it's filled with Groypers. That's why your whole crew, that's why the people around you, that's why your chapter presidents, that's why your attendees, they're all Groypers. So whether you choose to confront me or not over the honor of your Turning Point USA, it's immaterial to me. I'd like it. I just get a sick satisfaction out of it because I like to win. But we're already there. And this whole ideology, Zionism plus free market, it's dead either way. You know it. I know it. Pretty much the whole world knows it's over. In the last 7 years, who's moved closer to who? Could anybody accuse me of stealing Charlie Kirk's ideas? No. Has Charlie Kirk every step of the way moved in degree closer to me? Tried to ape my bit, my ideas, my style? Oh, no question. No question. We already own you. We own you. We own Turning Point USA. We own this movement. Whether you decide to have dignity about it and face me or not, that's up to you. That's something you'll have to tell your children. When Nick Fuentes became the future, when the Groypers took over the movement, did you take a valorant last stand? Were you courageous? Were you bold? Did you go down swinging or did you go down like a bitch? Did you run and hide? That's the only thing when you're explaining that to your family, Mr. Family Man. When you're explaining to your wife, when she's saying, why won't you just debate Nick Fuentes? And you got to explain to her. When your kids grow up, why didn't you just confront Nick?
You get the idea. You get the idea. ET says, why are people like Mike Lee inciting their base? Because midterm primaries starting a few distraction. We're not talking about the wrecked economy. We're not talking about the Epstein ballroom. We're not talking about the Epstein files. We're not, it's rejuvenated their base. Oh, we got a Democrat to hate. Hell, have you heard anything out of the farmers lately? Heard anything about the farmers lately? No. Farmers ain't out talking about, hey, our farms are dying. No, they're talking about Charlie Kirk. Their farms are still dying. They're still going bankrupt, but they care more about hating a Democrat than they do about keeping their farms. These right-wing, and I'm not talking about left-wing farmers. I'm talking about right-wing farmers. Snowy Mountain says, point out that Dems will never succeed on defense. Yeah, we talked about that. We did. Yeah, I'm never on defense. Never. I'm always charging forward. Always. Canadian Paul, thanks for being here. Grifter's going to grift. But yeah, they want to try to divert from the fact that, yeah, it's their people that are responsible for this. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that the Groypers and Nick Fuentes' followers have been steeping in forever. Just pure hate speech towards Charlie Kirk. And he wasn't wrong in saying that Charlie Kirk has been aping on his bigoted. I mean, he's a straight up white nationalist. He is. Nick Fuentes is a straight up white nationalist. He is. He talks about Jewish people and stuff like, I mean, anyways, you get the idea. But he's not the only one. This is Laura Loomer. I'm not going to read this whole thing because it's a long screed. But yeah, this is from Laura Loomer just, back in July 14th. I don't ever want to hear Charlie Kirk claim he is pro-Trump ever again. After this weekend, I'd say he has revealed himself as a political opportunist, and I have had a front row seat to witness the mental gymnastics these last 10 years. Lately, Charlie has decided to behave like a charlatan, claiming to be pro-Trump one day while he stabs Trump in the back the next. Yeah, the call is coming from in the House. The call is coming from in the House. Now look, they found that Charlie Kirk was turned on. I should say, Tyler Robinson was turned in by his father. His roommate, and there's some misinformation going around that his roommate, that he didn't have a roommate, that he lived at home with his. That's not true. He lived in an apartment. He had a roommate, and his roommate is a witness. He's not a participant. He's a witness. He's cooperating with the investigators, state investigators, and the FBI. Yeah, Raymond Weaver. Yeah, that is just a soupçon, just a taste of what Fuentes is. He's really freaking disgusting. He really is. And this is the kind of shit they're trying to sane wash with. Let's have a moment of silence for the family, man, and Christian. Bullshit. These people were bigots, man. And Fuentes wasn't wrong. Charlie Kirk has been aping. He moved when the Groper War started happening. Charlie Kirk moved more into even more radical territory, and started echoing that white nationalist shit. He did. That's Nick Fuentes telling you that. I'm simply agreeing with him. Kathleen Blaze, Trump already moved on when asked about Charlie Kirk. He talked about the most beautiful ball of the Epstein, but he sure did. He sure did. But they're about to go back to this because they think they got something. They think they got something. I got to tell you though, the witness is a kid by the name of Lance Twiggs. I'm not going to entertain much of this. I'm not. Lance Twiggs, they came out and said, well, Lance Twiggs is transgender. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. They found their transgender person. Is he even transgender? Because it sounded like they're just making this shit up. So I went to one article and it said, oh, well, look at his online stuff. Well, and I did. I went and looked at his online. They said his TikTok shows that and they took a still picture off of his TikTok. And they said his social media shows that he's trans. And so I went to his social media. I went to his TikTok and took a look at it. And no, it wasn't. It wasn't. You'll see a still shot coming off of this, and there was nothing there that said he was transgender. There just wasn't. I'm not outing this kid's social media. He put it out there this is his TikTok. They have a picture from this video.
For Christmas, I got one of those cookie boxes, but here's the magic part. Watch this. There are actually cookies
transgender
here, and
is that he was wearing that outfit. And then they said, okay, he's feminine. I can't play that. I'll get if you're watching this on replay and there's a skip right there, it's because I gotta strike for the music. Forgot that had music to it. But anyways, there's nothing. Do you see a transgender person anywhere on here? Anywhere? Me neither. Me neither. So I said, well, that sounds like complete bullshit. I kept looking because they kept being insistent. There's a video, and I'll let y'all decide later. It's 3 minutes long. And if I play the whole thing, I will get a copyright strike. It is from the tabloid The Sun. You folks in the UK members of the audience, please explain to the people what The Sun is. Please explain that it's a tabloid. It is not. It's a Murdoch-owned tabloid. The New York Post went with it. Where this is coming from is a neighbor kid. The Sun sent a reporter a journalist all the way from I'll say a reporter. I won't call him a journalist. The Sun's a tabloid. All the way from England to Utah to go hunt people up. And they got a little neighbor kid that's 18-year-old kid. It's the worst interview I've ever seen in my life. Says, oh yeah, I think he was trans. I saw him kiss. I saw him hold hands. And they're leading him with questions. They're feeding him the answer to the questions. They're giving him leading questions. Oh, well, what makes you think that he was transgender? Oh, the way he walked. And yeah, he just, the way he, if you want to see the video later, we'll play it later at the end of the show. But it's just one of the worst things. So I'm telling you, they're going to like gamer tags and stuff like that. They're claiming that the witness who is not part of the crime, who's cooperating with the FBI, is transgender. So what? So what? They're saying, well, that makes Tyler Robinson gay, and he was in a relationship with a transgender man. So what? Okay. Well, that makes him left wing. No. Even if you just accept this, which they have not proven any of this, they just haven't. They haven't proven this out at all. It may turn out to all be true. Tyler Robinson may end up being a gay man. He may be. And his roommate may be transgender. It's freaking irrelevant. That's not his political ideology. Vincent Saravo, MAGA on MAGA crime getting more frequent. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And if you don't believe that this has nothing to do with his ideology and the fact that he is not a leftist and he's a freaking Groper, yeah, what Jesse Waters and Brian, yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget to come back to that. But yeah, Nick Fuentes, this is the guy that streamed gay porn on his, you know how I'm bringing things up for you? Screen share, stuff like that. This happened to him twice on his show. You know that clip I just showed you of Nick Fuentes? Yeah, like twice on his show. He ended up streaming gay porn. One time he streamed it like this screen share, and then one time that they did the camera switch and he turned his monitor and you could see there was gay porn streaming on his monitor while he was doing the show. But they said that he was hacked and that it was the Jews and Mossad. That he's not gay. That's what they said. He's not gay. Yeah. I don't know if he's gay or not. I don't care if he's gay or not. I know what his ideology is, and I know what comes out of his mouth. But there's also this that went around, and both of these guys deny this and say that it wasn't them in the sex tape. Pardon me, the gamer streamer. And keep in mind, a lot of this shit comes out of the gaming community, folks. I'm going to need you to get more involved with your kids, especially your teenagers. We're seeing a lot of this Groper hate and stuff is coming out of the gay pardon me, not the gay community, but the gaming community. So yeah, I need you to get more involved with your kids. Now, people that saw the tape say, oh, that was Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes says, no, it wasn't me. But it was released. The video was from about the same time that they were hanging out together. And yeah, so I don't care if Nick Fuentes is gay. I don't care. It doesn't change his ideology, and it doesn't change Tyler Robinson's ideology if he turns out to be gay. If the cooperating witness in this case happens to be transgender, that doesn't make him the murderer. That would technically make him one of the good guys cooperating. I don't know how that works. But I do know that they're desperately trying to say that this proves that he was left-wing. And no, Nick Fuentes is not left-wing, and he appears to be gay. The head of the Groper movement appears to be gay. Robin the Hood, did you hear about London and Reform UK funded by the tech bros? Yeah. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did. But yeah, so it wouldn't shock me if there was a Groper out there who was gay, a white nationalist that was gay. So let's get over it. I don't care. I'm not Charlie Kirk. I don't care. And I've got to tell you, I'm really glad that there's a lot of people that are pushing back against the sane washing bullshit. You've had the UK Parliament that refused to participate in a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. So yeah, the European Parliament absolutely refused to participate in a moment of silence for a bigot. And Charlie Kirk was a bigot. Johnson County Supervisor in Iowa refused to lower the flag to half staff. Good for him. Good for him. Because we need to be pushing back against this bullshit. We're not going to sane wash this bullshit. He wasn't a nice guy. The shit he said, you need to be talking to your kids. I have told you over and over and over again, you must be talking to your grandchildren. If you see those Pepe the Frog memes on their social media, if they're avid gamers, man, these white supremacists figured out the gaming community was just ripe with young minds that they could just foment this hate. We're going to talk about the Colorado shooting in here a little bit. I'm going to pull up some stuff about that shooter who got radicalized online by right-wing white nationalists. He was a white nationalist, this kid. I'm telling you, we've got to be careful. This ideology and the right, all of this shit that's coming out is they're trying to keep it under the sheets, man, so they can keep coming for your kids. They see a next generation in this. Talk to your kids. That 3-minute video I'm talking about, that 18-year-old kid ends with him saying, oh yeah, I really liked Charlie Kirk. I didn't know him personally, but I really liked Charlie Kirk. The one that they're feeding the answers to, where all this talk comes from. Yeah. Talk to your kids. John Branch, their wagons are circled and they're in fire. Yeah, they're desperate to try to make this Groper murderer a left-winger, and it doesn't work that way. You know, this is just some of the stuff that Charlie Kirk has said. Just some of it. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Yeah, it was more than that. It was really more than that. It was a whole conversation. If you don't mind, I'm going to read that conversation to you. I know they say you should never do this in a show, that it turns people off, but I'm telling you, it's important. This was on Charlie Kirk's show. He had 2 guests. Who they are is not important. They're nobodies. But the guest brings up, we've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, when you're flying through a storm, and the reason I'm reading this, folks, is you're getting journalists that are out there saying, don't take things out of context. Stop attacking Charlie Kirk out of context. Well, I'm not. This is Charlie Kirk in context. On his show, this came out of his mouth. We've all been in the back of a plane when the turbulence hits, when you're flying through a storm, and you're like, I'm so glad the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw. I saw the guy with the right stuff and the square jaw get into the cockpit before we took off and feel better now. I'm thinking about it. Kirk says, you want to go thought crime? I'm sorry. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Corvette, but you wouldn't have done that before. Kirk says, that's not an immediate, that's not who I am. That's not what I believe. Neff says, it is the reality the left has created. I want to be as blunt as possible because now I'm connecting 2 dots. Wait a second. This CEO just said that he's forcing that he's forcing that a white qualified guy is not going to get this job. So I see this guy, he might be a nice person. And I say, boy, I hope he's not a Harvard style affirmative action student that landed half of his flight simulator trials. Colvitz is such a good point. That's so fair. Really, dude? Kirk, it also creates unhealthy thinking patterns. I don't want to think that way, and no one should, right? And by the way, then you couple it with FAA air traffic control. They got a bunch of morons and affirmative action people. Yeah, it didn't get better in context. It didn't. And it didn't get any better when he tried to explain. There was a big blow up when he said that. When he sat with Megyn Kelly and tried to explain it to Megyn Kelly. It didn't get any better. The essence of that clip was missed by almost everybody. Jordan Peterson, to his credit, really picked up on that. Which was, I was trying to be, this is Charlie Kirk talking to Megyn Kelly, which I was trying to be, very vulnerable with the audience, is that DEI invites unwholesome thinking. I was saying in the clip, that's not who I am. That's not what I believe. But what it does is it makes us worse versions of ourselves, Megyn. That's the whole point of what I was saying, is that I now look at everything through a hyper-racialized diversity quota lens because of their massive insistence to try to hit these ridiculous racial hiring quotas. Of course, I believe anybody of skin color can become a qualified pilot. Did you just sit there and say that we made you racist? Agent Cajun John, thanks for being here, brother. By the way, these are working out great. Thank you, my friend. Did you hear that Trump said he could care less about all the shit going on the left and on the right? Yeah. We have no real leadership. None. Texas Diva in the house. How they will spin this is that his alleged trans roommate brainwashed Tyler. They're already trying to. They are already trying to. Yeah. But Daryl Curson, thank you for dealing the truth and holding the right cards. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to sandwash this shit. It got no better when he tried to explain it. His explanation was that we on the left trying for racial equality are making him be a racist. He's not racist normally. No, we're making him a racist. This is the tongue-in-cheek shit that is Charlie Kirk. This is why I'm telling you, any of your kids or grandkids that were part of the Turning Point USA, or listen to Charlie Kirk, or listen to Nick Fuentes, or you must get into their social media. You must listen to what they're saying when they're gaming. If they don't want you in the room when they're gaming, there's something wrong. Steve Ward, now that my coffee IV has kicked in, the right is trying to compare Kirk to Christ. They have zero idea what Christ embodies. Yeah, I'm not going down that road. He was an asshole. Charlie Kirk was an asshole. Joan Prim, does anyone know what Charlie Kirk's parents are like? They are now, they are how they believe, or they Trump support. Yes, they are, and they're incredibly rich. He grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. Vincent Day, I had to cut back a bit on donations because they took away my Snap. But man, I'm sorry, Vincent. I'm truly sorry. You take care of yourself first, brother. We're just glad you're here. Gets my $11.63 a month from Social Security makes me too wealthy for help with food. Dude, take care of yourself first. Put your own mask on first. Always. Always. You can't help us, and you can't help us out if you're not in good shape. That's why they tell you that on an airplane when they give you that briefing. Put your own oxygen mask on first. I'm just glad you're here, my brother. Thank you, though. I'm very glad you're here, though. Gabriel Rice, black pilots aren't skilled. I guess he never heard of the Tuskegee Airmen. I know. It's pure racism. It is pure racism. And they think they're being cute. And that ain't the end of it. B. Jackson, I am tired of the memes of Charlie Kirk next to MLK. Jesus. I know. They're really trying to sane wash and rewrite this shit. This is just some of the shit that he said. Just some of it. I mean, this guy's been online for years. This is just some of it. January 2024 is like, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. December 8th, 2022. Do you remember when Griner was arrested in Russia and they made a big deal about the fact that we tried to get Brittany Griner out so that she could, we're trying to get her released. She was an American. She's an American that's been arrested in Russia. Of course we're trying to get her freed, but they're like, oh, well, there's a Marine in custody. You're not trying to get him freed. Well, that's a lie. Yes, they were. They were desperately trying to get this guy out. Russia was charging him with spying. If you're a WNBA pot-smoking black lesbian, do you get treated better than a United States Marine? I mean, just that whole false narrative, that's the bigotry of it. That's what they're selling to their base. They care about them blacks more than they care about our troops. That was Charlie Kirk. Happening all the time in urban America, prowling blacks going around for fun to go target white people. That's a fact. It's happening more and more. He said that on the 19th of May, 2023. If I'm dealing with somebody in customer service who's a moronic black woman, I wonder if she's there because of her excellence or is she there because of affirmative action? Dude, if you're dealing with a moron, excellence isn't involved. But if you're dealing with a moron in customer service and she happens to be black, she got there the same way if she was white. If she was a white moron, you don't see that makes you a bigot. And this is another one. July 2023, 13th of July 2023. If we would have said that Joy Reid and Michelle Obama and Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson were affirmative action picks, we would have been called racist. You did, and you were. You were racist. Now they're coming out and they're saying it for us. You do not have the brain processing power to otherwise be taken seriously. No, we didn't ever say that. Ever. Let me tell you something. Joy Reid is an incredibly talented person. Michelle Obama was a successful business person in private industry. She was a hospital executive. She was an incredibly good student. She tutored Barack Obama when he was at Harvard, and Barack Obama was an extremely gifted student. Yeah, the best students do that, by the way, when they're taking these Cletus ignorant people. Oh, he had to be tutored. Yeah, because all they think about is, they have to be tutored to barely get through a class. No, successful students will go hire somebody that's already taken a class that got a 4.0 in it to tutor them on the class so that they can get into the class and achieve a 4.0 themselves. It's proactively seeking out people that are intelligent. Michelle Obama is an incredibly gifted person. Sheila Jackson Lee and Ketanji Brown Jackson, come on. Ketanji Brown Jackson may be the greatest legal mind on the Supreme Court right now. Period. If you read her briefs, if you read what she writes, if you read her dissensions, if you read her concurrences, they are legally some of the best that we have seen out of the Supreme Court in the modern era. Yes, you're a fucking bigot, Charlie Kirk. Yes, you're a bigot. One second. Let me catch you up here. Katie Mully, thank you. I appreciate that. He says he saw me on Tennessee Brando first, and I'm glad you're here, brother. I'm glad you're here. I am truly glad you are here. That one timed out for me. I can't pull it up on the screen. I'm sorry. There you are, Katie Mully. I saw her first, and I'm grateful for you sticking to the truth. Had to dig far enough back. Appreciate you. Kevin Windsor, Eugene Bullard was a black American pilot in World War I. He flew with the French because the U.S. Army wouldn't let him fly in this country. Yeah, I'm telling you, this racist bullshit is just, it's more of trying to continue the awfulness that has been the bigotry in this country forever. And Charlie Kirk was absolutely in the center of it. He was a sorry son of a bitch. Tube Kirk. Charlie Kirk's racket was to launder white entitlement into a Christian sense of divine order. Same wine, spiffier bottle as 200 years ago. Yep, nailed it, brother. I'm going to take my hat off to you, and I got crazy hair today. Excellent. Excellent. Best way I've heard it put yet. This is why I tell you, folks. This is why I'm telling you. If you're watching this on replay, be here live. And if you're watching this on replay, swipe on the comments so that you can see the live chat and be part of the community. If you're watching this on PC, in the lower right-hand corner down there is the panel button. Open it up. Open it up. The conversations that are going on in the chat, this is a community show. This isn't just my show. This is our show. And the people in this community are intelligent. They're informed. You want the chat running while you're watching this. Chris Bakos, this is Chris Bakos from California. The two of us are the Golden Lone Star Alliance. I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you being here, man. I really do. Pam Matthews says, what Charlie Kirk deserved was to be exposed and an exploiter of racist, misogynist American failures. Yeah, that's exactly what I was doing here. Exactly what I was doing here. I warned you about what he said. I warned you to talk to your kids. No, the man should have never been shot, and none of us on the left are preaching that shit. But I will tell you, this is happening. This is Amy Twiggs. This is her Facebook. This is the mother of Lance Twiggs, the guy that they're claiming is transgender. I'm still waiting to see. I don't know. I don't know. I'm still waiting to see. It doesn't look like it. Nothing they put up, the social media stuff they put up didn't have anything to do with transgender. And it wouldn't matter if he was. He's a witness, for Christ's sake. But this is, they're attacking her. They're attacking her on her Facebook page about her son. And Linda Lou here gives her great advice. You need to look. This is what worries me about this, okay? They're just posting awful shit about her son and attacking her and her family. It's really freaking gross, man. These right-wingers are just gross. And I'm going to finish this up about Lance Twiggs and say this. That family needs to get an attorney. The fact that I'm seeing that all of their social media isn't locked down, that it's still out there, tells me that either they've got some local yokel attorney, or they don't have one. Twiggs family, this administration, it's a TV show. It's reality TV. If you think that this DOJ is going to do what is legally correct, what is decent, what is normal, no. They want your son to be both transgender and responsible for this. He is not safe as a witness. They want him responsible for this. He needs a lawyer. You need to have a lawyer. A good one. And I know you don't have one, because the first thing a good lawyer would do would be to shut down your social media. Get one. Get one. Everybody in this country deserves representation. But yeah, this is what the right is focused on because it's re-energizing their base. It's, the farmers aren't crying about they're losing their farms and ranches anymore. The right-wing farmers aren't crying about that. They're upset about Charlie Kirk, and they really think it's saving them from the hole that they're in over Epstein, the failing economy, tariffs, everything. But the world is still spinning, folks. And I tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to quit talking about Charlie Kirk so much. Unless there's a major revelation, I'm going to quit talking about Charlie Kirk. And I'm going to do it because of this. Had this shooter not shot Charlie Kirk, but just shot some student, the right wing would want this to be gone already. Quit talking about it. It's too soon. We can't talk about this. Let the family grieve. They wouldn't want to talk about this. They'd want it to go away, just like they do every school shooting. Just like they do every school shooting. So that's what I'm going to do with Charlie. If there's no major revelations out of this, Charlie's going to go away. Just like every other student that's been killed in a mass shooting in our schools. I don't think he deserves any better. The man is a bigot and misogynist and an asshole. Joe Emily, don't forget the pic of J.D. Vance lying on the couch and make up one pic of this person. Yeah. I'm telling you, that's been flying around everywhere. There's also a picture of J.D. Vance wearing a dress and a wig that's been going around to make fun of this. Before we move on from the shootings, I just want to pull this up for you. I had too many tabs. Just bear with me. I have to pull it up. I don't trust the media anymore, so I'm going to the ADL for this, the Anti-Defamation League. There is concurring articles, but I don't trust their spin anymore. Desmond Holly was the shooter at Evergreen High School in Colorado the same day that all of that happened. And nobody's talking about this kid. He's 16 years old. He was radicalized online. He was a white supremacist. They've released his conversations where they talk about he had a fascination with Columbine. He had a fascination with, all the prior school shootings, and he got involved in this Watch People Die website. And it's horrific, man. The conversations that they have there are really gross. I mean, you got people there telling him things like this. You got close to a full setup now, man. Time to make a move. Because he's talking about preparing for this school shooting. Somebody else says, just need a GoPro. It's going on. Be cool on POV. You need a GoPro, battery, ear protection, and maybe a patch. Now you got to get night vision. This kid, Desmond Holly, I'm planning on getting a camera instead. Somebody says, is bro going to be a hero? Going to get that Sonenrad patch like Brenton and Peyton. Talking about two other previous shooters. This is a Sonenrad patch, by the way. This is a Sonenrad patch. White supremacists love these things. You'll usually see this, their tattoos. You'll see this all over the place. This is a Sonenrad patch. You'll also see it a lot of times. It'll have a swastika in the middle of it. It'll have a swastika in the middle of it. 1 second. Again, if you see anything that looks like this, if your kid had this is meant to keep people like their mom and dad don't know. Their mom and dad might know what a swastika is, but they won't have any clue what a Sonnenrad patch is. Again, that tongue-in-cheek racism. I'm not screaming it out loud, but the real racists, they'll put a swastika in the middle of this. This is a beloved icon of the white supremacist movement is part of their iconography. I'm telling you folks, and this is what I'm gonna wrap it up with. You got to get involved with your kids, man. You've got to get involved with your kids. You do. This stuff on the Steam community, the Twitch community, the gaming, the white supremacists have figured out that the gaming community is fertile ground to go find young white men and radicalize the fuck out of them. They just have. That's why the casing that Tyler Robinson etched catch fascist, and then they never talk about the arrow marks on it after that. That's from the gaming community. That's not the anti-fascist community. It's from a video game. It is a crit move from a video game. Dying Breed Garage, horrible that they are talking like they are planning a vacation. Desensitizing is not strong enough a word. Truly twisted minds. Yeah, I'm telling you, you've got these adults. I guarantee you, these were grown-ups talking to this kid, telling him how to plan it. You're ready, man. Do it. And he went and shot 2 of his fellow students. Yeah, it's from Helldivers. It's from Helldivers. And again, if you see it, let me pull this up real quick. Let me pull this up, see if I can find. Oh, I got to go through way too damn many of these tattoos. But yeah, it is a popular tattoo among the alt-right in the gaming community. It'll usually have the German eagle on it. It says catch fascist, and it has arrows, up arrow, right arrow, down arrow, right arrow. That is a maneuver in the game Helldivers that causes a huge bomb to fall. I'm telling you, I cannot stress to you enough. I know it may sound silly to you. Video games, what the hell? No, they're really, really radicalizing these kids in these communities. Yeah, exactly. That's why I love this community so much. I mean, you people are informed. You know what's going on. When I talk about something, there are people in the audience to explain it. But yeah, I mean, they get tattoos with that cheat code on them. I mean, this is a thing, man. I mean, it's troubling as hell. I know it really is troubling as hell, but you have to get involved with your kids. And let me tell you something, folks. The world didn't quit spinning because Charlie Kirk got shot. No, it's still spinning, and there are serious things going on, serious changes. You've got Boris Johnson, former Prime Minister of the UK, coming out as a war hawk. He says it's time to put European troops on Ukrainian soil and tell Russia to bog off. Poland is screaming the same thing. We may be seeing an escalation in the Ukraine war. That's really going on. And meanwhile, you've got our president looking for transgender people to hate and building the Epstein ballroom. Allison Kinsey, Mighty Successor has an Epstein's email where their gift transactions information is slipping through the cracks. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It is not going away. It is not going away. They're desperately trying to make it go away, but it is not going away. Gerard Riley III, thank you for being here, my friend. My Irish people in the house. My mama was full-blooded Irish. Patel's reference to Kirk reaching Valhalla is taken directly from Hitler's speech at the funeral of President Hindenburg. They are showing their white supremacy out in the open. Yeah. Patel was raised Hindu. Kirk was a Christian. What the hell does Valhalla? It's that tongue-in-cheek white supremacy nods. They're doing it all over the freaking place. And they think that we can't expose this code. We see you. We see you. Michael Walk, it is the code for the Eagles 500-kilogram strike and Helldivers 2, a game that is supposed to be a satire toward military dictatorship and propaganda. Yep. What did I tell you, folks? If you do not have that chat panel open, you're making a huge mistake. You are making a huge mistake. This parallel conversation is going on. You can just watch me and my ugly mug, or you can have be part of the full community. Lindy Packrat, the games industry makes more money than movies. They target gamers for recruitment every time the left complains games are too violent or too pro-war. Yeah. Spot on. True. Spot on. Stephen Leach. Is it Stephen or Stephen? Which one do you go by? I'm 73 today, always gamed with my nieces and nephews and grandnieces and nephews. Access to fertile minds is what it's all about. Happy birthday, my friend. Everybody wish Mr. Leach a happy birthday. But yeah, it's not the only thing that's going on. Folks, this really happened. You notice they're not talking about the Venezuelan boat anymore? Oh, flexed our muscles. We blew up a boat with a destroyer. Oh. Not a peep. Nothing. Wonder why. Oh, yeah. Venezuela identified the 11 people in the boat. None of them are Trinidad or Aragua. None of them are drug traffickers. Uh-oh. We just murdered. And I say we because this was done by the United States military on behalf of the United States of America. We just murdered 11 Venezuelan fishermen. 11 Venezuelan fishermen. And when you heard that story and they showed that video, what was your thought about that boat? Was your thought like mine? You just made the automatic assumption, well, we destroyed a boat full of drugs. And I'm like, prove it. But I never questioned that the boat was going out to sea when they destroyed it, because that's where the boat would have to be going to deliver drugs, right? Nope. It was returning to shore when they blew it up. Judith McDonald, Kirk Media keeping us from watching the attempt to steal Venezuela. Ben Norton is the only source I can find in English. Yeah, they're trying to foment a coup in Venezuela. I would not shed a single tear, not a single tear, if Maduro and his administration collapsed. He's a freaking brutal dictator. But it doesn't mean that we get to be murderers. That boat was returning to shore when they blew it up. So tell me how it was full of drugs again? Why would a boat full of drugs be returning to shore? I thought they were Trinidad or Aragua. They were shipping drugs to the U.S. They were poisoning us. Really? No, they were fishermen. They were fishermen. And we just straight up murdered them. So our Democrats, when you hear it all the time from, what do the Democrats do? What are the Democrats? They're doing their job, man. They're doing their job. Jack Reed, the ranking member on the Armed Services Committee, came out and said, look, we just got a briefing. There was nothing in this briefing that even said this boat was Venezuelan. It was in international waters. They didn't even prove it was Venezuelan. They didn't prove that they were drug smugglers. They didn't prove anything other than we blew it up. And that's a problem. This is a statement from Jack Reed in that article. If you don't want to go back and read the whole article, he says they offered no positive identification that the boat was Venezuelan, nor that its crew were members of Tren de Aragua or any other cartel. Senator Jack Reed, the ranking member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, said on Tuesday after his staff were briefed by the DOD. Yeah. That's a problem, folks. Venezuela is going to go to the World Court. They're going to try to get sanctions put up against us, and that's going to put our allies in the position of saying, well, America can just murder 11 people if they want to, or we've got to sanction them. This isn't going to go away. It's not going to go away. These people are imbeciles. They're idiots. They're morons. They cannot manage our economy. They cannot manage foreign policy. They sure as hell can't run our military. They put a drunk in charge of our military. Creed Dreamer says, history repeating itself. George Lincoln Rockwell, an American Nazi, was killed by one of his own. Same with Malcolm X. There's so many conspiracy theories out there right now about all that. Yes, it is a war crime. And Venezuela is within their rights to pursue actions against this administration. And they're going to. And they're going to put our allies in the position of either saying, well, we really don't have a rule of law, or they've got to oppose the government of the United States of America because they're fucking incompetent imbeciles. And what they're going to do is they're going to take the officers in the military that did this, and they're going to throw them under the bus. And that's where it'll end. They're going to betray the people that followed their orders. As well they should. These officers that approved this strike and carried this strike out, they engaged in an illegal order, and they should be prosecuted. George Allen, God, Paul, imagine a ground invasion of Venezuela. Holy crap. No, I don't want to imagine that. Thank you very much. If you don't know, Venezuela, it would not be nice terrain. It'd be Vietnam on our part of the world. Kathy Young, Pete will be the new Ollie North. We've got problems to fix, folks. Bad problems to fix. And this is how imbecilic they are. This is how bad they've deteriorated. Even the FBI. This isn't the FBI's first rodeo in dealing with seized drugs. It's not. But they act like it is. Because this just happened. Workers taken to hospital after FBI uses furnaces to burn seized meth. The police have furnaces that they use to do this specifically. This was up in Montana. It was in Billings, Montana. Instead of transporting the drugs to a proper furnace to do this, they went down to the animal shelter. Animal shelters that euthanize animals must cremate them afterwards. They don't have like an animal graveyard. They cremate them. So they went down to the animal shelter and used their furnace, sent everybody to the freaking hospital, poisoned the animals. It was 14 staff members at the animal shelter that had to be taken to the hospital. 75 cats and dogs had to be evacuated from the Yellowstone Valley Animal Shelter in Billings, Montana, because these idiots decided, let's burn some meth. This is our government, folks. This is our government run by Republicans. You know, animal shelters are in a crisis already right now, because every time the economy dirts in like ours does, the first thing that happens is animals get abandoned. Your local animal shelter is filled to the brim, past the breaking point. I promise you, if you call your local animal shelter, they have more animals than they can house. They are desperately looking for, the one right up the road here is desperately looking for volunteers, food, anything that they can get, and they're begging people that are in a position to do it to adopt animals. So if you can, get in touch with your local animal shelter and volunteer, help them out. If you can adopt an animal, great. But yeah, it's bad enough without the FBI coming in and burning pounds and pounds and pounds and pounds of meth and poisoning all the animals in the damn shelter. Babylon 101, the rules of engagement were not followed. Babylon 101, old Air Force call sign. Babylon 101 is an old Air Force call sign. Gracias for your service. No, thank you for being here, my friend. Thank you for being here. I mean, this is what we've got right now, folks. Sherry Purpura, if war breaks out, we may be forced to do a military coup. Imagine the administration in charge of a real conflict. There are starting to, this is something that either Wednesday or Friday of next week we'll probably have a discussion on. We're starting to see cracks in the military. There are very high-ranking generals. I'm not talking about a coup. There are very high-ranking generals that have had enough, and they're starting to speak out about things that we don't even know are going on. David Martinez, thank you for being here, brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for supporting the show. But yeah, the world didn't quit spinning just because the right-wingers think that they got something to be excited about. I'm not going to let them sane-wash this shit, but I'm not going to keep talking about him either. I'm going to treat Charlie Kirk like the Republicans treat every other victim of that was ever shot in a school. I'm going to ignore him. I'm going to ignore that he exists. Well, folks, that's what I have for you today. You have the option, if you'd like to see the video of that kid, it'd be one of the last things I talk, unless there's a huge breaking event or something. We're not going to talk about Charlie Kirk anymore. George Allen, I have 2 dogs and 5 cats. So sad to hear that. Yeah. Me too, man. Me too. Do y'all want to see the video? It's 3 minutes long. I'm held it to the end because if you play a full video like that from a news outlet, they can actually ding you with a copyright violation. And The Sun is one of the Murdoch's tabloids, and they may very well do it. I've only ever had that happen to me once, so I'm willing to try it again. Those copyright violations go against your account, by the way. If you folks in the chat tell me you want to see that video, I'll play it. This kid is a moron. This is one of the worst interviews I've ever seen done. Incredibly leading. Teresa Washington, those morons are going to start wars. They are. They are. ET says the pets of seized, quote, illegals, unquote, are needing to be taken care of as well. There are a few groups in the Miami area that are needing donations as well. There is a horrific situation going on when you put it in quotes, illegals. There's a man, get this, he's here legally. He came here, he was part of the opposition in Nigeria. He came here legally. His wife is a legal citizen. He came here legally. They arrested him and deported him anyways. Then they injured him when they deported him, but they sent him to Ghana, who is incredibly hostile towards Nigerians, by the way. And now Ghana is going to take him and dump him back in Nigeria. He left Nigeria because he was part of the political opposition. They put him in a dog crate and tortured him and put him back in the dog crate, took him out and tortured him, put him back in the dog crate. And then they cut him loose and said, if we ever see you in our country again, you're a dead man. We just sent him back. He wasn't here illegally. This is really happening, folks. There's more stories out there than you would believe that are going on with Stephen Miller and the sickos, the bigots, the white supremacists. They're desperately trying to rewrite this white supremacy shit. They don't want this whole story to be about the white supremacy and Nick Fuentes and his white supremacy and the Groipers. They desperately want it to be about trans people or gay people or people that they can attack that had nothing to do with this murder. Well, look, it looks like most people say, look, don't play it. I won't play it. It's 3 minutes long. But if you want to see it, it is the Sun in the UK. You've got to get to the UK Sun and do a search for Lance Twiggs, and you will find it yourself. Watch the interview. It is so laughably stupid. This 18-year-old kid has no idea what he got himself into. He has no idea what he got himself into. These people are alive. This shooter is alive. He will have a trial. He will have an attorney. And this kid that went out there and ran his mouth, and obviously he's just pulling shit out of his butt, doesn't realize that he just got dragged into the middle of this big legal dust-up because this administration is going to try to find a way to charge this transgender person. They desperately want it to be about that rather than the white supremacy that both Charlie Kirk and Nick Fuentes represent. Colleen Sarah, support, volunteer at local shelters for animals and humans. Amen. Amen. I saw something the other day that just broke my heart. There was a homeless man in a neighborhood in LA. And look, a lot of homeless people are willfully homeless. I'm not painting the whole group. I'm not anything like that. I'm saying there's a lot of mental illness involved with homelessness. There is just a fraction of it. Some of them are just veterans. Some are just people that are just have had a bad run of things, lost a job. There's a myriad of reasons for homelessness. Forgive me. I got to take a quick sip here. I'm losing my voice. But in many instances with homelessness, it is a mental illness issue. So it's very difficult to get them into shelters or into systems that could get them back into a home. So this LA neighborhood adopted this homeless man. They would hire him. They would pay him. He wasn't violent. He wasn't, unsanitary. He had a tent set up in their neighborhood. He would sweep the sidewalks and they would give him money. He disappeared. So they went to check on him, and somebody said an ambulance pulled up and took him. And they're like, oh man, he something must have happened. So they went and they actually found the ambulance. They found the crew from that area that had picked him up. And they're like, oh yeah, it was minor. We just took him to the hospital. Well, he's gone. And he has mental issues. And this neighborhood is desperately trying to find their homeless man because they're afraid that he's either been incarcerated or just dumped somewhere where he has none of his possessions, and he's just lost. And they're freaking out trying to find their homeless man. I mean, it was just really, it was heart-wrenching. They've got pictures of the guy. I mean, they've really tried to take care of him as best they can, but he has mental issues. He's not somebody that is easily that's the problem with this, folks. And again, that's what I want to sum this up with. LA, it's in LA, Mary. It's in LA. It's in a neighborhood in LA. There are issues that aren't easy. People are complicated. They just are. And the right wing always tries to sum things up. They don't want to deal with problems. They don't want to do the work. And they try to sum things up in easy ways that just benefit them politically. Democrats will do the work. And it's not always pretty. And hell, we don't always get it right. But we'll do the work and we will try. We're not the same, people. We're not the same. And I had a win yesterday. I spoke with a girl that is a young woman, not a girl, a woman, successful woman at that, that me and Mrs. Texas Paul love dearly. And she's been very angry at the Democratic Party. She has. She's very much very angry. She's left. She's very left. She's where I'm at politically. She's over here on the left. And we talked about it and talked about it and talked about it. And after a 3-hour conversation on the phone, she's like, well, I see what you're saying. If we're going to change things, we got to do it from inside the house. She said, I'll think about it. She's a wonderful person. She really is. And if I can win one over, you can win one over. And we can get people moving in the right directions, get Democrats reelected, fix this stuff, make a better tomorrow. That's what we're doing here, folks. That's what we're doing here. Anyways, that's what I have for you today. Thank you again, Mr. Leach. I appreciate you. Thank you. That's what we're doing here today. That's what we're trying to get done. Always making it a better day. Always making the country a better place. Let's do this. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.